Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Preston M. Smith. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm Preston M. Smith, at PMS Artwork everywhere on internet land and socials. I want to thank you for landing on this podcast. Whether you're a professional artist, just getting started in the art world, a collector of art, or just consider yourself a creative person, this podcast has something for you. I like to think of it as a fun way to rant and talk to other creative people about living the life of an artist, surviving and getting ahead in the art world, and enjoying your life. But most importantly, not waiting until you're dead to make it happen. All right, let's get started.
Thank you, folks. Fozzie, get out there. Comet, I'm not ready. Okay. Here goes nothing. Hiya, hiya, hiya. Oh, okay. Tell them a joke. Right. Okay. Waka waka. That's how I warm up. You're a lovely audience.
It'd be a whole lot better if you were finished.
Oh, jeez.
Your attention, please. The Muppet Show has been canceled due to anti-bear sentiments.
Oh, man. Remember the days before cancel culture? Before we tried to out-woke each other? Those were the...
This just in. The Living Artist Podcast has been canceled due to anti-cancel culture rhetoric. Thank you for tuning in. Cancel culture has now been canceled by cancel culture. You may now return to your regularly scheduled program, already in progress.
Alrighty. I kid cancel culture and wokeness. We know you mean well. Anyway, on to the episode. I think I've probably used up most of my time with the intro, but hey, that was fun. So I hope some of you are old enough to remember a little show called The Muppet Show. It's time to light the music. It's time to light the lights. Yeah, I wanted to do more, but, limited time. So did the best I could. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was a little nostalgic for all you out there. So I just wanted to talk quickly today. This is a Friday episode, and I just wanted to talk quickly before the weekend about managing your expectations when it comes to new things that are on the market, new things that everybody's telling you have to do all the time. And this was kind of sparked by something I was talking to a friend and fellow program artist about this morning, and that was Reels. And Reels are kind of the super in thing right now. It's like, yeah, what everybody's doing. It pretty much started, it basically started with videos, right? It started with YouTube, and then TikTok made that huge. And then they were all of a sudden doing the YouTube shorts, and that became Reels with Instagram. And now I think it's going over to Facebook, and that's going to be the new big thing. And Reels are very important, and they're fun, and they can get a lot of information out to people and a lot of like behind the scenes stuff. You and your studio get a little glimpse of your personality. I think all those things are great, and they align with what I keep preaching about as far as like letting people in, letting them see and get a glimpse behind the curtain and see how you are in your studio, see how you are with your work, a little bit of your technique, a little bit of your personality, and just get to know you, because I think collectors like to see that and people like to see that. That's how we are now. We're kind of a voyeuristic culture. But anyway, it got me thinking about doing them and doing them more. I have done some Reels. I had a stint with YouTube. I want to get back into that. It's just one of those situations where, of course, time is limited. And as an artist, you can only do so many things and wear so many hats and wear those hats well. You might be wearing an old stovetop hat and it's just not working for you. I think it's just kind of one of those things where you have to try things. You have to be aware of what's coming on the market, what's new, what's exciting, what is useful for us, what's something that's a good tool to put into your toolkit. And I think Reels is one of those things. I'm going to be getting into a little bit more, and we might have like a an episode, I should say, down the road that just is devoted to Reels because I think they are extremely important. And anybody who's on Instagram sees how much certain artists and certain people are devoting their time to Reels. So that's very important. Now, do I think you can go to an extreme with Reels? You hear my voice going up? Wow. I hope that didn't hurt anybody. I think you can go to an extreme with Reels. And by that, I mean, look, they're wonderful. They are fun. They get a lot of information out. They get you to see behind the scenes, behind the curtain. They're kind of a branding thing. But look, the extreme would be, I don't see any downside to them aside from the extreme can be that they eat up a lot of your valuable time, which could be used marketing. It could be used uploading work to online marketplaces, getting into galleries or pounding the pavement or just creating that, which is the biggest one, right? Creating your inventory. So I think it's one of those things you got to do and it's important to do. And it's important for us all to try on and kind of work into our schedule, but don't make it the end all be all, I would say. Now, look, I might get into this later and be like, it's all about Reels. That's all you have to focus on. I could say that. I could change my mind. But based on what I've seen, what I've done, what I've kind of seen come and go, I think it's going to be something that's here to stay. And that's why I'm talking about it. But I also think you need to make sure that you're making time to do those other important things in your career. And that's the same thing that happened with me that went for NFTs.
NFTs.
I'm going to probably double that. If I had doubled it, you probably already heard that. So that was redundant. So yeah, NFTs, the all-powerful NFTs, they are still around, still going strong, but there definitely has been a bubble with them. I was kind of waiting to see how I felt. I started doing the NFTs. I kind of got freaked out by the Coinbase and all the exchange of money, and I had some people already hacking into it as I was getting started, so I had some problems with that, and I just was like, you know what, I'm just going to wait and see. And maybe I shouldn't have been so timid, but I was. I know other artists who are doing very well, and I'm going to have probably one or two of them on eventually to talk about NFTs. But I wanted the dust to settle a little bit and just to kind of like weed out all the people who are flooding the market with NFTs and jumping in there and being, I got NFTs. And just find out like the people who are really sticking around and making a go of it, find out really what are the best practices and what's still effective for NFTs from the people who really know what they're doing. So look out for that. But it's also one of those things where it was kind of a fad. It's a fad, but it's also true and it has some staying power. So it's like a gluten-free diet, right? There was this huge thing like, I am gluten-free. I actually have problems with gluten. It screws me up for 3 days afterwards, but some people just do it for the fad, right? It is a fad diet, but that doesn't mean that the gluten-free diet is not effective for some people and that it's not valid. It's the same thing with Reels. It's the same thing with NFTs. Do you have to be doing them? Is it going to completely change your life and your art career? Not that I've seen so far. Now, I know there are a couple people that would argue with me, especially with NFTs. I know some people have really made a killing, and I know some people are actually making consistent money doing it. So there's always outliers. Maybe it's something that is going to become a viable source of income for a lot of artists moving forward. So like I said, we're going to put a pin in that. We're going to come back to the NFT conversation at a later time and in a later episode, and with people who know a hell of a lot more than I know about NFTs. A hell of a lot more than I. Yes. So another one is, I should say, because it's still out there and people are still using it. It's very popular among certain people and in certain circles still, but that's Clubhouse. When Clubhouse hit the market, it was like, this is all that is happening. And yes, it happened when COVID was happening and it was a way to connect with people and it was great. And I did Clubhouse and I had a weekly talk with some friends, including Alejandro Castañón, a couple other people that would come in and out. And it was fun. I loved it. And it's great. There's a lot of information to be had there, something for people who have the time to really listen and join certain groups, and they can, get a lot of information from that. If you're not into the whole podcast thing, if you're not into researching yourself or doing it other ways, I think Clubhouse can be a great way to get a lot of information quickly. There's always the other side of like getting into a room where people are just arguing and wasting your time. But, if you go through and figure it out and filter that and find your groups that work for you, Clubhouse can be a great resource too. But it's one of those things too that was kind of like the it thing in the moment. And I remember hearing Instagram's going to do their own Clubhouse version. I'm not sure if that's still happening. I'm not sure if that kind of died down too. So I guess the purpose of this episode, it's not to talk about cancel culture, even though you might have thought it was at the beginning, but there is a similarity. It's something that a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon for. And even if you're, for example, one of these people, one of these trolls in real life who's looking to find and dig up stuff on celebrities' past and sell that to places, well, there's a market for that right now because it is happening now. It's trendy. I don't think it's always going to be that way. I think there's going to be a backlash with that, just like with anything else that can be perceived as negative in our society. But all of these things are going to be around. They're all going to be here even past the apex point, the point of the most excitement where people are just flooding to do all these things. All of them are going to be around. I really think that NFTs, Reels, Clubhouse, and yes, folks, even cancel culture are going to be around past the apex trending point, let's say. And yes, I think a lot of people are going to benefit from them, especially the former three. And I think they're all something that we should be looking into as artists. We should always be aware of what's coming on. I'm not a huge like Gary Vaynerchuk guy who's like, oh, I got to get up every morning and I check every single app that's up and whatever's trending, I jump on that. And, that's great. If you have that kind of mentality and you're really just gung ho about that, I think that's a really good thing to do. And I think if you're really good at utilizing social media and just hitting trends and knowing your market, I think that can be a great practice for you. But for everybody else, for a lot of those artists who are just kind of into creating and then they kind of like to do a little marketing, or they're trying to dip into marketing a bit more, or they're trying to dip into social media a bit more, that might not be the route for you. But I do think we need to be aware of trends. And I think we do need to be aware of things that are coming on the market that can be good tools and resources for us. So it's a balance, just like anything else, right? I think that's what I'm always trying to say on this podcast is it's not about this is the one path. This is the one path. This is the one size fits all social media platform. This is the fix all, end all, be all that's going to make you an overnight success. No, I don't think anything is that. So go into these things with a little bit of excitement and like an adventuresome spirit, but also with a little bit of an idea of balance. Don't just be somebody who's completely just following trends. I think our touchstone as artists is our creative process and our creations. So make sure you're in the studio and creating. Make sure you are, if you're making your living as an online artist, which I'm doing about 70% of the time, or as a gallery artist, a brick and mortar gallery artist, you need to have that inventory. You need to be either uploading work onto your online marketplaces or getting your work into the gallery in front of people, getting collectors to see your work. That's the most important way. And then all these other things should be a tool to kind of help accent this and, add to your arsenal. So there you have it. I will always be on the lookout for new things that are coming on the market, things that artists are using, things that we can all benefit from, and I will bring those to you as soon as I have them. I think the main thing that I've been pondering today is how much everything is about balance, especially in your art career, but also in life. Having that goal, having those goals, always moving the goalposts forward and being really focused on what you want to achieve next, but then also taking time every day to be grateful for what you already have achieved, what you already have, so you're not just constantly running after something and not fulfilled, right? And just the same thing with all of these apps, all these things that are coming on. You're going to hear a lot of people like talking them up about, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. Do it, find it, try to excel at it, but also make sure that you are balancing it with the things that are most important to you at the same time. And, just like the same thing with life, right? I feel like I was talking to my wife about this the other day. It's a constant battle. It's a constant reminder. You're never like, let's say in your spiritual practice, okay, you're reminded all the time that life is about being in the present moment and appreciating what you have. But then the next day, you're still right back into the rat race and you forget about it. And you have problems, you're bombarded by certain things and issues. And then all of a sudden you're like, I have to remind myself again, life is about being present and breathing and finding stillness. And amidst the madness, and everything is a constant balance, or a constant process of striking a balance, I should say. And it's the same thing with all these things, same thing with all these tools, whether it be Reels, whether it be Clubhouse, or whether it be NFTs. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope that everybody's positive. Hope everybody's creating well. Hopefully you're ready for the weekend, even though you're probably listening to this in the middle of the week sometime. Hope you had a good weekend. Reach out to me on social media. Love to hear from you. And
Aw shucks, we've been canceled again. Have a crackerjack day, and see you next time, if there is one.
this has been the Living Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here, and I'm grateful to be in your ears. Your art and creative life on this planet is meaningful, so thank you for sharing it with me. If you like this podcast, whatever platform you're listening to it on, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also leave me a positive review to show your support. This helps me to reach more people with the algorithmic magic and keep the show going strong. If you want to see more of what I do and check out the art that I create, you can visit my website at www.pmsartwork.com or follow me on social media everywhere at PMS Artwork. That's it for now. See you back here next time.